Hello, good evening, welcome to another episode of Easy 8's Online Painting Club. My name's Danny, and for the next 2 hours I'm going to be painting some miniatures, hopefully along with the company that you guys are going to provide me. It's been a week or two since I've last been on, and some connoisseurs of the show may notice that I just messed up my audio cues. I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, I'll just throw myself straight back in. I've literally not been home very long after a 27-hour shift. I'm shattered, so I just had dinner with my partner, and yeah, I thought I was going to be on time, but I think I'm pushing it a little bit. But that's not the point. It's not about being late. It's not about being on time. It's about being here with you guys, painting some fun miniatures. And I wasn't here last week to do any of it. And I'm going to be honest with you, since the last show, I haven't done anything. I've been really busy. I've been recovering where I can. And of course, last Friday was my anniversary. It was 6 years. Thank you to everybody who wished us congratulations and all the nice things. That was really, really appreciated. Got a lot of comments. Thank you very much. We had a lovely day. We went and had a cream tea at the local RHS Gardens, and it was just a really nice day. Just chilled out without having to, put much thought into, various commitments and things. And it was just really nice to hang out. We don't get to spend an awful lot of time together in the summer. So yeah, it was really, really nice. I was thinking, do you know what? If I get the chance, I'll put a couple of hours aside and catch up on the miniatures that I've been painting recently. And then I just enjoyed relaxing and not really thinking about the workshop or the show and doing miniatures and things. So I just kind of just let it go for a little while. And I've missed it, but it was definitely worth having a little bit of time to myself anyway. If you're working on a project this evening, that's what it's all about. It's about you guys getting through all your unpainted stuff and just kind of catching up on your collections. If you are working on something this evening, do let me know. I'm genuinely interested. So if you're so inclined, please do tell me all about it. You can drop it over in the live chat if you want to. If you're watching later on, drop it in the comments down there. I read everything. If you want to, you can take a picture of it, stick it up on Facebook or on Discord, where you can join me at the end of every show, at least for a little while, and join the rest of the community at the Easy 8 After Party on Discord. Yeah, if you like what we do here, and if you're new, maybe you haven't done it already, please do consider subscribing to the show, because every subscription goes a really long way to making the community grow. I'm here for you, and I really enjoy the company that you guys provide me. So yeah, let's make the community even bigger. We are nearly 200 subscribers. That's a really big deal. We've been floating around just teasing on the edge of 200 for a little while now. So if you know someone who you think might benefit from the show, or might just enjoy the company of a live painting club, get them to come along, reach out to them and see what they think, because you never know, you might bring someone into the family, and that would be really, really cool. Let me take you straight over to the workbench and we'll get cracking on. And when we're there, I'll catch up on the live chat, because it's been going on for a little bit, because I think I'm a couple of minutes late. Sorry. Here we go, to the workbench. So, the miniatures that I'm going to be working on today were the miniatures that I was working on a couple of weeks ago, which is my little miniatures that I'm painting for my dad over at Purple Lion Creations. That's Jeff. I don't think he's in the live chat just yet, but he might be very, very soon. These are miniatures that I'm painting for him for like a little expose, if you like. They're like a little publicity set of models for a customer's build that he is building. I'll try and get my words out right. He's building a build for a customer, which is basically the Iranian embassy in 1980, the SAS counter-terrorist unit thing. Yeah, that little thing that we all know so much about. Yeah, this is White Team. I've got some really cool pictures for source material to kind of try and match the colours in, and I'm trying to play around with it a little bit. There's a part of me that wants to do it exactly as the eye sees that picture, but at the same time, there's a lot of black in there, and there's a few bits of detail that if I just went and did it all black, it would just look a bit boring as far as the miniature's concerned. So I'm going to try and be a little bit inventive and stray away deliberately from the source material, just to make the models a little bit more interesting. Here he is. Here's my dad. Thanks, mate. Hello, I'm here. Hi. Thanks for coming along, everybody. I'm going to catch up on the live chat in just a minute. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to sort out my autofocus. I left it on today, just thinking maybe it'll catch up, but it's not doing very good, is it? Let's see. That's a bit better, isn't it? I'll hold it about there and see how that works for us. Yeah, there we go. So, as you can see, what I've been painting on these guys, they got some overalls, they got some body armor, they got some guns, they got masks, they got a few pouches, and they got some gloves and boots. The reason I call all those individual details out is that's kind of the separate colors that I'm going to paint. As you can see, the overalls I painted green. They are going to be a bit darker than that, and they're going to be shaded with a 50-50 water and basilicanum grey contrast paint wash. I really like that. It's become one of my unifying colours that I always like to go to. I really like it. It does a lot of magic for me. So it works. So don't change what doesn't work, right? And I'm also going to use it on the dark grey that I've got here. Now, this body armour here, you see it's got some like dangly down protective bits that protects his family jewels and also the sides of his hips, etc. But that's all black in the source material that I've got. If I just paint everything black, it's going to look a bit boring. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to, again, do that basilicanum grey wash, or even maybe a Nuln oil, which is like a jet black wash. I'm going to do that over it as well to darken it down, but hopefully, being that it's a wash, the grey will show through a little bit, and it'll have a little bit of contrast within its own detail, if that makes sense. That means that other black details I can pull out in black and maybe just highlight them a little bit so we can see what they are. So, if you have a look at this guy, you can see that he's got some knee pads and some shin pads. I don't think the source material pictures that I've got those bits of armour on there, but yeah, whatever. I'll paint those in the same grey as well. I've painted his gloves grey here. I don't know if I'm going to do those black or leave those grey. But I'm going to wash all that down with the grey. And then I'm going to do his boots, his gas mask, and definitely his little rifle there. I'm going to do rifles, little SMG. I'm going to do those in jet black to hopefully make them kind of pop out against the rest of the grey-black details that are going to be on there. We got some pouches, all in my source material, and the common sense that says to me that they would all be probably black as well. We're getting a bit of a theme here, and that's boring and dull. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do those yet. There's a part of me that wants to do them brown, but I just do all my pouches brown. I still want to do it right. I still want to do them grey or black. So maybe I'll do them like a different type of brown and stain them black, or stain them grey, or maybe I'll paint them black and highlight them brown. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you've got any suggestions, I'd love to see what your ideas are there, just to make them stand out a little bit, because everything's going to be grey, black, green. It would be nice if there was a different key colour in there, just to kind of pop out a little bit. Jeff says, I think they are just knee pads. Yeah, I just want to like, just trying to find like a little colour routine. Do you know what I mean? The gas mask, gonna do that black. I'll probably just pick out a little bit of the contouring in there. He's got like a little, I don't know what you call them, but the little round bits where the filters are, I suppose. Just down inside his cheek in here, if I put my little brush just in there. So I'll probably highlight those with a bit of grey. It's that big hair that's on there that I've painted. I know. And I'll probably do like a nice little silver, like a really bright silver in his lenses, which I could, again, hit with a basilicanum grey wash. That'll just tone that silver down, and it might give it a bit of reflectiveness that might be quite smart. Again, it's the face, it's a key area. We want to draw a little bit of attention to that area. It might just kind of bring a little bit of focus to that area there. So yeah, those are the ideas I've got. Anyway, what I am going to do is I'm going to bring these guys up to speed, get all the grey finished on them. So body armour, gloves, legs, etc. And hopefully I'll get all of that done today and a little bit more. Right, let's have a little catch up on some of the comments that are going in here. Oh yeah, my dad was in the early chat there. Sorry, I just didn't see you. There's a lot of colour going in the live chat there, and I didn't see the grey bit that was your name. So sorry. Crumbs is still saying 4 more accounts till the fuzzy ones appear. Yeah, I said that when we get to 200 subscribers, I will let the cats in the studio. Table of Horrors says, Kit Bash Heresy Era Sanguinary Regard this week. I managed to say that all in one go. I'm also working on some ratties. Ooh, I need to know what that is. Please tell me more. Use black as your mother colour. Tell me what you mean by mother colour. That's an interesting phrase. I want to use that more, but I want to know what it means. Danny, all this black is boring. Me is hurt in my wardrobe. Do you know what? Black's the colour of EZ8, black and white, really, isn't it? Like, I feel your pain. I used to wear a lot of black. I went through a black phase when I was in my sort of late teens, early 20s. Yeah, I get the black vibes, man. But when it comes to a miniature, you might as well just sprayed it black, mate. I need to bring a little bit of colour in there, just so that it stands out a little bit. People can kind of pick those little things out there. Yeah, sorry if that hurts you right in the feels. Are we talking 50 Shades of Grey? No, I'm just like 2. It's a much quicker book. I opened the front cover, read it, it's rubbish. I nearly did a swear. Yeah, I've got no time for that literature at all. I'm sorry, all literature is art, I think. Right, let's move on from that before I get snarky. It's just dross, isn't it? Oh no, I've started. There we go, cool. Right, so I think the colour that I used was Eshin Grey. I wanted to use Corvus Black, which is very, very dark. It's too dark, it's not really what I wanted. Eshin Grey is what I use on my Tyranids. Gonna give that a bit of a shake. Bit of a hand waz. There we go. Still using that phrase, you're welcome. So, the last couple of weeks, and on my anniversary, it ridiculously warm, 26 degrees. That, for those of you that live in hotter climes, I don't care. It's ridiculous. Anything over like anything over 17, 18 degrees, I melt like butter in the oven. And if you like anything more than 25 degrees, you should be ashamed of yourself. But today, a much easier 19 degrees. It's been a hot, sticky couple of days here in the southwest of the UK. And you know what? My studio, for the first time, I think is cooler in the sunshine than the rest of my house. I've got my little fan on, and my window's just open a crack. I've got to have my windows open a crack if the cats get in. They found the skylights. But yeah, it's actually quite pleasant in here. I was getting quite worked up. I was like, oh, I hope it's not going to be so hot again. I can't be dealing with it. But no, it's actually all right today. I've got really creaky headphones. It's really doing my head in. I don't think you can hear it because where you hear my voice coming from is from a different microphone. I know I lean away a lot. I'm really sorry. I am going to be repositioning it soon. But it's a new headset, and this headphone here, there's a little cable that goes through the hinges, and it just constantly creaks. It does my head in. When I'm gaming, and I'm using it as a gaming headset, my friends can hear it, and it's just a constant blight in my ears. First world problems, eh? Anyway, here we go. Let's get on with some painting. So I'll speak to my dad. Are we allowed to talk about the build any more than what I've said this evening? Are we allowed to talk about it yet? Because I know that a lot of the projects that you work on are actually customer builds. Like, for those of you that don't know, Jeff in the live chat is my dad, who owns and runs Purple Line Creations, makes custom and tailor-made builds, bespoke builds for your terrain and building requirements. I'm going to get that on this stand. So sometimes, because it's for a customer, we're not allowed to talk about it because the customer wants to, maintain some sort of level of privacy. That's fine. But yeah, are we allowed to talk about it? This is, as well, I'm thinking about it as I'm painting. This is definitely one of those projects where I've got this crazy idea, and I hope it works. I'm doing a lot of greys and being a little bit, I don't know. I know it's not like a completely crazy, wacky idea, but it's not something that I've really tested before. I hope it works. Because I know that the guy that you're making the building for has these miniatures and has painted his own collection, and they are really nice. Yeah, but you've asked me for your own set, so you shall receive them. and sometimes I'm given artistic direction, and that's dangerous, right? Because you don't always get what you want, maybe. Now they are metal models, metal minis. I'm not really a fan of painting on metal. I'm not really a fan of just not painting on them. I prefer plastic. I think plastic is the way forwards. I think that sculpts. There are some very talented sculptors out there, and I think that you can get more from your sculptor if you do your final models in plastic. While pewter and even lead have their traditional and nostalgic community, and you're absolutely allowed to like them, of course, and you're allowed to prefer them, sure you are. For me, my preference is with the plastics. And I find working with metal difficult. The paint comes away from the model, handling it very, very easily. So you've got to be very careful what you do, and you've got to protect your piece a bit more. I also think the quality of the final model, I think, is just higher with plastic. So trying to paint onto metal, even if it is a really good model, like this model is, I just think that the surface, for my level of painting perhaps, just find it difficult to work with. So I'm trying my very best to deliver quality standards for you, for your photography pursuits with this miniature. So we can see all the grey on there. I've even done his gloves. Originally I was going to do boots, gloves, gun and mask. I was going to do those all black, but the gloves are attached to the gun, aren't they? And I want them to stand out. So for now it will be gun, mask and boots. They're going to be the black bits. And I'm tempted to kind of do those now, but actually I'm going to let that dry. I'll get carried away otherwise. Cool. You, sir, can go over there. Lovely. I'm actually going to move this down a little bit because it's nicer to work a bit closer to me. Lush. Just adding some water to the paint, keeping it flowing, keeping it fresh. Now you can see that the black wash that's on there, that's actually like the Basilicanum Grey. I made it less diluted when I was doing this. This is just so that I can see all the details on there. When I've primed him, given him the undercoat, I want to see where all the details are so I know what I'm working with, what I can paint, and it allows me to block in the colours that I'm going to be painting. It shows me the little creases, all the details. Might have to do 2 coats. It's fine if I do, but I'm trying to get away with making just 1 pass. Now, being that they're metal and paint rubs off metal very easily, doing 1 pass might not be enough to make them like protected. Paintwork with less coats of paint might actually be a bit more fragile. So we'll see. We'll see. See how much I need to handle it. Now, this gun's in a different pose, obviously, to what we just saw. This one's actually being held up quite close to the chest of the miniature. Another reason why I wanted to be able to distinguish between grey and black in a job that could potentially be all black. If I was to just do it all black, it would be just boring as a miniature. Sorry, Shiv. I think I need to use my smaller brush. Let's give that a try. Let's have a little look, see what comments are going in. Jeff says that we are allowed to talk about the build just a little bit. I'll let you do the talking because you know more about it than I do. The ratties are from the AOS introduction set 20 rats and 5 Sigma Marines. Oh, okay. I don't actually know an awful lot about the Age of Sigma. I know that it's the new Warhammer thing, the new Warhammer game. I just don't know an awful lot about it. So, yeah, teach me. Plus paints and Citadel starter brush. Excellent. I've recently enjoyed the Scale 75 metallics I bought, so much so that I've bought 2 of their metal sets now. Excellent. I've heard very good things about Scale 75, but I don't own any of their stuff. I'd love to hear a little bit of a mini performance review. Tell me what you think. Thoughts, through your painting journey with it. And what colours are in your sets? How many do you get in a set, and why have you bought 2 of them rather than one big one, or not 3? Smaller brush, a bit more control, takes a bit more time, so it slows me down a little bit. Try and switch between the 2 brushes as often as I can, so that I can keep my speed in there. Well, that's his body vest armor thing. That's what they call it. That's what it's called. Don't know what these little bits are called. If it's got the same names to normal medieval armor, then they would be tassets. But the dangly bits that hang off the main chest armor that protect your hip joints, your bony pelvis parts, and the no-no parts. You know the parts of which I speak. The bits where if I was to go and kick them, you'd be like, no, no, no. The no-no parts. Little biology lesson there. Don't know how to highlight the rifle. I think that dry brushing them silver or highlighting them slightly with silver, I think it's a bit fake. I don't think guns really are like burnished silver. Like if they're painted black, they don't really get worn little bits on them. I think they're quite well looked after as well. So yeah, I'm a bit reluctant to go with the silver, but it might look quite smart. Again, you've got to think in terms of it being a miniature. It's too small to put so much detail in it, you know what it is. Just by looking at it, you have to have some sort of fun colour in there as well. I think that white bit here, I think that under his pouch, isn't it? I think that is a part at the bottom of the body armour. Or is it a jacket? Should that be green? I think it's part of his jacket and I need to paint that green, don't I? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to paint it grey. I'm going to paint that green later on. It's the only one with it on there. A little uniqueness to that particular miniature out of all the others. Something that I'm quite aware of whilst painting the legs on this. This is quite easy to sort of just miss a bit because well, I primed in white. It'd be very easy for me to have like this glaringly stark and obvious white dot sticking out. So even if I miss just the smallest little bit in there, I've got to make sure that I go in and patch them all up. Now, chances are, if I do miss it, I will like properly miss it, so I won't know until like, the whole miniature is like done or almost done. So just taking the time, really. As I paint a section, like I'm painting his knee, his whole kneecap right now, just making sure that kneecap is done to completion. Sometimes it's quite easy to like paint a wider area and just miss a little bit. That is actually the reason why I really like washes, is because it will hopefully fill in any little gaps and dots and things for me. So that you know, I don't have to be so neat. It's like a little cheat code, isn't it? There's a little green section just in there in his leg that I need to get into. So this guy needs some green attention. He's also got some like little straps that go around the backs of his legs, and I think that it would be nice to kind of just pull those out in terms of the colour, so, just so that that nice little detail that the artist, the original sculptor, spent such a long time probably sculpting. I want to kind of show them off a little bit, but in a colour that isn't distracting and fits the theme. So that'll probably be something that I think of as we're going along. It doesn't have to be like an accurate colour. It can just be thematic. So it could just be like a pale shade of green that just sort of blends in a little bit with the rest of the overalls that it would be resting against on the backs of his legs. It just kind of stands out a little bit as that's probably a strap. We're good there. Just going to get his little gloves done. I didn't do the gloves on the other guy. I should. Oh no, I did. Yeah, of course. Silly. Put him back on the stand. Putting him on the stand. Just trying to not handle him as much as I possibly can. My brush is absolutely caked in paint. I'm trying to like hold out until I get to the end, but actually I just need to wash that out. Missing some comments going on here. MP5s are painted black. Lots of paint chips possibly. I just don't recall ever seeing a gun that's like so badly scuffed up that it would show a lot of silver on it. But again, we associate that with miniatures. Do you know what I mean? Like when we paint Space Marines or we paint soldiers or whatever, we do it because, yeah, well, guns are made of metal. If the paint rubs off them, it will show the exposed metal, and it looks really cool and it looks really sci-fi, I think. But is it really accurate? I don't recall seeing a real gun that actually had so much wear on it that it appeared silver dry brushed. You know what I mean? But as a wargaming community, we associate it, so it might be worth just doing it. Yeah. Again, just try and make sure that I get a good covering of that grey in that area, because it looks like that the actual texture of the miniature is a little rough, so the paint's struggling to kind of get to some areas. It's leaving like little white patchy parts. Trying to make sure that I cover all of it. And then when I apply wash, it can do a lot of the outstanding work for me. One last quick coat across the back, there's a second coat. Ace. You can go there, sir, thank you. Let's bring up guy number 3. Another gun against the chest, wash the brush out. Now I have a machine gun too. Ho, ho, ho. Gotta love a Die Hard reference. Gotta love a Christmas movie. I believe it's a Christmas movie. I'm sorry. I know that Bruce Willis has gone on record for saying it's not, but it is, and you're allowed to be wrong, Bruce. Sorry, mate. What other things have I missed? I know I'm going to miss loads here. Decent metallics about the scale 75 stuff. Yeah, I used them in the past and I like them. Yeah, cool. I've never used the scale 75 paint. Would love to though. Jeff says we'll post heresy builds as I make them. Big ruined factory first, still drawing it at the moment. That's going to be exciting. I agree with Table of Horrors. Please do. Looking forward to seeing. That's going to be great. Yana says I was just starting to paint my newest Imperial Knight, and then my new Screaming Skull paint just went grainy. So I guess that's nope. And it's back to the modifying Mastodon. That's a shame. I really like Screaming Skull. It's one of my favourite paints. If I've got a problem with pigment in a paint, like my orange, I use an orange paint. If I need to paint over something, I will put that Screaming Skull, as a base colour to paint over the top of it, because it covers almost anything in 2 coats. It's a really, really good paint. It's also just a really nice colour as well. Sorry it went grainy. You tried thinners and things like that, maybe try and save it a little bit? I don't know, maybe you have. Crumb says, Jeff, visit the factory that has the mega weapons that the Lion gave to Purdy. Customer sent me a huge box of bits, Zinj Industry. I've seen the box. It's a huge box of bits. Loads of stuff to add to the builds. Are you allowed to keep any extras, or does it all have to go on the builds? Oh yeah, I'm just going to keep going through it. Crumb says, Skavens, because who doesn't love the idea of a bunch of mutated Mickey Mouse running around munching on crystallized warpstone? Yeah, I think Skaven are a great horror story within the world of Warhammer. I think they're fantastic. Jeff says MP5s are painted black. Oh yeah, we've already read that one out. Yeah, I think you need I need a red tape line on the mags. Yeah, I'll do that. We were talking about that the last time, weren't we? I think Kez said that in something that she was watching, blue tape is dummy rounds and red tape is live rounds or something. Yeah. The quarterback is toast, same as but a bit more obscure. I don't know the reference. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm just dumb and you say something and it's really obvious and I just don't get it. But of course I read it out, so I've just got to admit that I don't know what I'm talking about when I read out some of your comments. I'm so sorry. I'm just dumb. Yeah, sorry. It doesn't help. For the job that I do, like I work with children all the time, and a phrase that I keep hearing is skibbity toilet. Yeah, a good pause in the music there. Skibbity toilet. I actually had to go and Google it. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You go and Google it. It's safe, by the way. It's safe. Children keep on saying it. They keep on just throwing it out there as something fun to say. Sometimes they'll call themselves that by name. Sometimes when we're playing games, we have to make teams to say name your team. They'll say skibbity toilet. It happens all the time. Like, right, enough is enough. What is skibbity toilet? Yeah, interesting to say the least. So yeah, I'm a little bit stupid. Not as stupid as people that say skibbity toilet. Kids these days, man. I do try to keep up with the lingo. It's important. It's important to the kids. I've only just adopted sick into my general vocabulary. If something is cool. Moved over to mint, I remember, some years ago. Yeah, mint, mate. It's very British, isn't it? But now, that's sick. Of course, back back in the 1920s, 1930s, it was Wizard. I'm almost certain that these miniatures will be completed by the end of next week's show. The work that I'm doing now would have been the work that I would have done over the off-air time since my last show. But I just enjoyed just spending some time at home. I had a couple of days off, and I'm going to be honest with you, I did absolutely nothing. Just sat in front of the TV for 2 days. I showered and clothed myself, fed myself, and just sat there having a cuddle with the cats for a couple of days, because sometimes you just need to do that, don't you? A couple more comments going in. Oh, it's safe, won't bother looking it up then. A toilet for a child finding kangaroo. Skippy the Bush Kangaroo. If the word groovy is good enough for Bruce Campbell, then it's good enough for me. Yeah, why do we have to keep changing the word for cool? Why do we have to change it? Like, groovy was good, and he said it in a groovy way. I don't speak youth. I really despair when I hear them chatting, thinking that when I get all these mothers, they're going to be looking after me. Cosmic in my day. Wow, I love that. Vic's Introspective, a new member to the Easy 8 community. Hello, hope you're having a good evening. Hi Vic, thanks for coming along. I'm going to call you Vic, because calling you Vic Introspective is a bit of a mouthful every single time, but cool, I hope you're doing well, and thanks for coming on the show, and I'll be well interested to know how you found out about Easy 8 and whatever, and just welcome to the community. Thanks for coming along live, and let us know if you're painting anything this evening, because that's what it's all about. Yes, I am having a lovely evening. I had a bit of a break last week, so it's just nice to get back into the groove this week. I broke my ribs, so painting is tough right now. Ouch. Yes, I've broken ribs before, my own and others. I do some odd sports, and yeah, it can be tough. So I hope you recover quickly. I hope that it wasn't too much of a traumatic event, was your injury, and yeah, I suppose if it's hurting painting, it must be quite a bad break as well. Do look after yourself. Be safe. Oh, I love it when the community just gets a little bit bigger. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the show. But maybe you just want to warm into it. Maybe you want to just test the waters and see if this is for you. I hope that if I'm not entertaining enough or informative enough, that you find a nice bit of company in the community, because that's what this is really all about. It's just bringing some people together and just enjoying the hobby together and just chatting about your successes, sometimes your failures, because you know what, a good old failure is a good old lesson, and I don't mind saying a failure. I've had plenty of them myself. Is it ever really truly a failure? No, not if you're learning from it, I don't think. I suppose lots of different ways of classifying what a failure is. Is it just that it didn't go according to the plan that you had, but it still looks really good? Then probably still not a failure. Right? If it was really bad, didn't meet any of your criteria for for what you wanted it to look like in the end, and it was still a load of rubbish, but it made everybody laugh, still not a failure? I don't know. It randomly popped up in my YouTube feed. Brilliant. Cool. Oh, I'm really happy with that, because, well, that's what we want. And, well, if you know anybody else that would be interested in coming along to a live stream painting club, where we can just, do this stuff from the comfort of our own homes, around our busy lives, all the better, right? Bring people into the community. Bring your kids, bring your friends, bring your spouse. Bring your folks. I brought mine. He's in there right now. Say hello. I always say that the show is not a tutorial show, but people do ask me questions, and I'd love to be at a level where I could be considered good enough to, impart my skills or knowledge. I don't think I am, but when do you know? When do you know how good you are? There's got to be a time when you're good enough to know that you're good enough. How do you know when you're good? That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I look at some of the pros painting out there, and I'm like, wow, that is a really cool bit of painting you did there. You are definitely a pro. Some people charge for their work, and rightly so. It's very good. Some people charge for their stuff, and it's not as good as other people's. But that would tend to be rude. It's So I don't think that that's a way of classifying. Are you good enough? How do you know when you're good enough? So the show was originally just made to, in order to bring people together during the pandemic, because of course we weren't allowed out, so we couldn't go to our normal social conventions and whatever. And I was getting bored and lonely within the community. I actually shared a house at the time with lots of other people and my partner, and so there's lots of people in the house. But when it came to painting, it was my partner doesn't share this hobby with me, and my friends didn't. I thought there must be other people that are really struggling with this too. So what a great thing to do. So me and my friend set it up originally. Oh, I'm painting the wrong part there. And I was going to stop. I was going to stop doing it after the pandemic, and I had a lot of people just going like, "Oh, please don't, mental health. I need to keep this thing going," and it's kept me painting. So yeah, that's what it's all about. There is a special event when it gets to 200 subs. Yeah, I'm going to let the cats in the studio. We were just talking about it earlier on. My cats eat miniatures. I don't know what it is about miniatures. They just love them. They'll pick them up in their little tiny teeth and they'll just run around the house with them. Taking my little 15mm tanks somewhere in the corner of the house, chew them to death. All my friends' miniatures when they come over to play games. So I actually have a 0 cat policy in my studio, and I will let them in deliberately when we get to 200 subscribers. We are so very close. I'm actually so very nervous about letting them in. They've actually got into the studio on a couple of occasions, like stealthy little ninjas, just in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Like I was saying earlier on, there's a skylight right here, and there's a skylight right there, because I'm in the attic of my house. And I don't let them in through the door behind me, that's the only way in. But they've learned to scale the sides of the house and get on the roof, and now they crawl in through the top. Especially the girl cat, she can't help herself. She just really wants to be in here. The boy cat is probably waiting outside the door for me now, and he'll just sit out there until I'm finished, and he'll be meowing. So they are keen to come in. If you want to see my cats, everyone loves cats, don't they? If you want to see them, I will let them in when we get to and stay stable at 200 subscribers. Yeah, don't know what I'm letting myself in for. I need a bit of paint. Here we go. Join the groovy soiree. Soiree, good word. Dance around the groovy soiree in your groovy cosmic dancing shoes. Danny, you're good enough. You're getting commission work. I don't think I'm getting commission work. I mean, I'm just helping out my dad. I don't think that's commission work. But thank you for saying that I'm good enough. That's kind of decent to say so. I'm very amateur at painting. I think I'm good enough to be, to feel comfortable online talking about it. And I'm an amateur broadcaster, and I don't try to be something that I'm not. I hope. Maybe if you don't like what I actually am, maybe I should try. So do let me know. Answers on the postcard and all that. Painting is in every person's game, and I want it to be accessible to everybody. And sometimes when you see the pros out there, they make the really cool and hard things look so easy. And well, just like over the last couple of weeks before this particular model, or the set of models, I was doing my OSL, my plasma glow on my Adeptus Mechanicus, and while I was very happy with the results, it's still not as good as the pros make it, and they just do it. Like they go, oh, just put this here, do that, and it looks so simple. Just a case of put this white paint down, put a little bit of blue on top, done. Yeah, and I'm just, oh, how do you do it, man? And I try to represent the everyday man and lady and non-binary, of course. Obviously, I misspeak in this modern world. It's important to have a representative for someone who doesn't quite get it right. Do you know what I mean? There are some wicked talented people out there though, right? I think Morph visits you and gives you a certificate when you're good enough in the UK. Please, someone else get that reference. I know Morph. Yeah, Tony Hart, there we go. I'm sorry we can't send your artwork back to you, but still, here it is on my fridge. So please don't put my Titan on your fridge. When it gets to 500, they're going to paint a mini each. That'd be cool, right? It's an interesting looking handle you got there. May I ask what it is? Absolutely, you may. It's a two-part piece. I prefer holding it in my hands like this, but it actually has a handle on it, and it just screws into the bottom into this little nut under here, and it just fits on here like this. Sometimes I do use the handle. It depends on what I'm painting. Sometimes I'll hold it like that. That can be quite comfortable. I was moving them around a lot because it's quite a small miniature. I think I'm working my way around it quite quickly. So I just unscrew that, and it's a Rolson one. And I think you can pick these up from, like, if you're in the UK, I think you can pick these up like in like your Wilcos or whatever. So definitely worth keeping your eye out. It's obviously bigger and clunkier than the Games Workshop ones, or even a bit of cork with a bit of blue tack on the top. I quite like this bit on the side here. It just works as a vice, as a clamp. And I actually quite like being able to hold it a little bit. So yeah, I really like it. I've got no need to change up to one of the Citadel ones. I think they are very good though, the Citadel ones. They've become very, very popular in recent years. I do like them. If I didn't have this one, I probably would get myself one. Some people just super glue their miniatures, don't they, to a giant piece of cork or something. If it works for you, it works for you. I quite like the ones that have got the archway on the top, where you can actually hold your figure like this. I quite like that. I just don't have one. I don't feel that I need to use it. Holding it like this, you can see that vice bit is actually against my thumb knuckle, and I do have this really weird thing on my left knuckle. I actually have like a double jointed thing, so I can actually do this with my thumb. Look away now if you're squeamish. I can do that, which is quite a hyper extension. It's just one of those little things, so I can actually hold things quite weirdly in my hands. I will get cramped like that after a little while, but because I work with children, I get them to like push my thumb, and like it goes pop like that, and I pretend that it's dislocated, and all the kids go bleh. So yeah, that's my pie trick. Woot. I can also do a water droplet sound with my lips, like Rolf Harris used to be able to. A guy of many talents. Me, not Rolf Harris. In that little tiny pocket. Another thing that I don't like about metal miniatures is, like I was saying earlier on, sometimes the texture of the metal can be enough to just make the paint not want to transfer from the bristles of your brush onto the actual model, and you get quite frustrated just trying to work on one tiny little bit. If you don't get that tiny little bit, of course it's primer white, so it'll just show up, and it does my head in. That's because I'm an easily frustrated person. Jose Da Vinci and Angel Giraldez. I don't know what we're talking about again. You are getting a bottle of 43. Cool, thanks. I didn't charge for it, just to say that, you might call it a commission. Like, I'm not a commission painter. I did think about it, actually. I wondered if I was good enough. So when I first started Easy 8, just while I was having the idea of doing something, I thought, should I... Because I was made redundant. I'm now working back at the same place I've always worked at. But I was made redundant, and I wondered if there was a future in doing what I was doing, or did I need to, test the waters of being a commission painter. And while some people really make it work for them, for me, I just don't think it would have ever... I would have really struggled, I think. Not just generally because I'm not a good painter, just because I think commission painting is a hard life, and I don't think I have what it takes to do that as a job, as a little side hustle maybe. So I did think about it, and I quickly shot the idea down and thought I would rather do something for a community style project, make an online community. No one else at the time seemed to be doing it. There are other similar sort of events and things out there now that are just starting to pick up. I like to think that Easy 8 is the OG, the original gangster in that outfit. But find your company where you find your people. If it's here at Easy 8, good for us. And you're always welcome. And if it's with someone else, then that's absolutely fine too. I'm not about to get broken-hearted about that. You find your people. If we all got on with one another, we'd just be one giant happy family worldwide, wouldn't we? And the place would be probably a little bit duller for it. So yeah, you find your company where that company is. I'm just very grateful for the people that come along and help me make the hobby as fun and as interesting as it is. And I just genuinely look forward to not only painting my miniatures. I've often said now, like, doing Easy 8, being a live stream is a part of the same hobby for me now. It's one and the same thing. But I also just really look forward to hanging out with you guys. I've made genuine friends, and I think that's really valuable. And that's, I think that's a really interesting and valuable side feature of this hobby. There you go. I said my bit now. Oops. You stay there, me. I always go the wrong way, twisting it up. Boop. Lovely. Wash my brush out again. Yeah, I do the super glue method, says Vix. Yeah. So on a giant cork, yeah. Because you could just pull it off and then sand it down or whatever, right? And it's cheaper, it's easier. Why not? Crumb says, my local Wilco is closed and they shut because they bit off more than they could chew, getting a huge building. Then Home and Barkins and B&M opened up after Wilco was doomed. Sad, huh? I have the exact same joint thing too. Yeah, Thumb Brothers. I'm not alone. It doesn't do it on this thumb. I mean, I can make my thumb go like that, but it's not the same as as boop. Weird, isn't it? I play the guitar as well, so it's quite a handy little thing to just pop it on the back of the neck. Right. Last one to paint all the grey in here, and then I think after the intermission, which we should do a little pause now, really. When we come back from that, I will get on with some washes and hopefully bring the colour of these greys right down so that they're almost rendered black, but I'm hoping that the grey shines through a little bit, so when I do all the blacks and I dull the greens down, it should all come together but stand out at the same time. Yeah, clearly I haven't scripted this show. So yeah, man, who scripts their painting? If it really is like a nice little community, whoever goes to a painting club and thinks this is what I'm going to say tonight, if you do that, then dude, really, come on. Let's get a bit of paint on the back of him there. Cool. Yes, let's move away from here. Oh, my little menu thing's not working. There we go. Cool. Yeah. Wow, is that half time then? Is it? Yeah. Do you know what? Like, time flies when you're having fun. It really does. Like, we've been going for an hour already, and all I've done is painted 3.5 vests. But that's you gotta do the bulk work. If you've got a lot of busy work to do, you just gotta get on and do it. And it's it feels like you've got an ocean of stuff to do, and that's why I think this sort of a show is quite valuable to people. Is when you're going through the monotonous tasks, be it lots of details that never seem to end, or you've got like just a sea of just bog work to do, then having some company while you do it, knowing that other people are struggling with the same thing, I think is quite motivating. Yeah, comforting. That's a good word, isn't it? Comforting. So yeah, like I love talking to you guys and knowing that sometimes you guys struggle too, but also you guys have taught me a lot on problem solving. How do you avoid doing X, Y, Z, and how have you got around that? Blah blah blah. So I'm just going to paint that last little bit there, and then while the music changes, I'm going to cut to break. And in the meantime, while I go have a quick rest, stretch my legs, and refocus my eyes a little bit, I'm gonna go and get myself a grown-up juice, because I haven't had one for a couple of weeks now. I had a glass of wine on my anniversary last week, and yeah, I'm gonna go and get myself a V&C. So yeah, just gonna catch up on the live chat here quickly. Jeff says, oi, who are you saying oi to? I think the local model show is coming up soon on the 18th. You're absolutely right. We'll talk about that when we come back. Remind me, because I will forget. Same just on my left hand. What? Are we the same person? That's insane. There you go. That's got to be a reason to subscribe. Please accept no substitutes. Subscribe or die. I'm not going to say that again because that's actually somebody else's catchphrase, and I don't want to coin somebody else's thing. So subscribe or yeah, there you go. Cool. I can see other comments going in, but they're not appearing on my main screen. So, oh, there we go. Vodka. It just got delayed coming up in that live chat. Right, I'm rambling a little bit now. I'm going to take a quick 10-minute break. You guys should do that too. If you're looking for something else to do on your break, go and change your paint water. Don't leave it like that. See you in 10. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome back, and I'm just going to say how cool a show tonight is. I'm just watching the live chat just suddenly explode with more people joining in the community and more subscribers, up to 198. Something's happened today. Welcome to the show, all of you new viewers. Thank you so much for coming along and just stopping by and just seeing what it's all about over here. I can see that we had a new subscriber in the live chat. I've just lost the name of that person. I believe it was Joanne. I'm just going to check, see if I've got it here. Oh yeah, Jodie Ann 83 subscribed to your channel. Hi Jodie Ann. I wonder if you're one of the current live chatters. We've got James D that's joined us as well, and of course we've got Vix Introspective that's joined along, and we've got a regular face. Christoulis has just joined us. How goes the hobbying? I can't talk all of a sudden. I'm getting a little bit excited because we've got new people coming along, and that makes me really happy. To answer James's question, yes, we are a UK based group, but we actually stream all over the world. We have quite an extensive viewer community in the United States, where we have some people that watch all the way over from Australia, although I don't think that they've been very active in the last 12 months, I think, because, lives. We've got a few viewers in India as well, but most of us, I think, are UK and US. Born in California, but I've been living in Staffordshire for the last 15 years. Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the UK. And welcome to Easy 8. It's literally just a show where I paint for 2 hours live to provide you with a little bit of company, perhaps a bit of motivation. I hope in some ways some inspiration, and I get the same from you guys. Just making a nice little network of like-minded hobbyists, just in the knowledge that someone else might be struggling along with you, or that we might be succeeding along with you, just to kind of share the company, share some experiences, just have a laugh. I've made lots of friends during this show, and it's just great to see people joining in. So welcome everybody, thank you so much for coming along. British, found Easy 8 while in Japan. I love it. I'm going international, guys. I don't know why I did that voice. Anyway, I went and got myself a grown-up juice to celebrate not only the weekend, but also the influx of new viewers. Welcome to the show, and cheers, everybody. Yeah, that's I was a bit overzealous on that. God, I can strip minis with that. Cheers, everybody. Woo! Cray. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing to the show, because it seems we're getting some new members coming along. If you like what we do, you can subscribe, you can give the video a thumbs up. I'd love it if you thumbs up. In fact, you know what? I'll give you a second. You go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Go on. I dare you. Every time you interact with the video, be it in the live chat, be it in the comments section, maybe you're watching back a little bit later on, if you subscribe, if you thumbs up, whatever it is that you do, it all affects the algorithm. All hail the algorithm. And of course what I want to do is get this community out there far and wide, so that we bring in lots of other like-minded people and just sharing the community, sharing the hobby, and make me feel big-headed about it in the process. Yeah, I'm one of those. I'm not. I try to not be. What was it Crumbs was saying just earlier? Was this where you tell me to paint more minis? Do you know what? It was that guy. It was that guy that inspired me to start Easy 8 back in 2000, which was Miniac. I think the guy's a legend. I think he's absolutely brilliant. And I've watched him grow from a humble beginning YouTuber like myself, rising right up there to be one of the top heavy hitters within our community, within our industry. Is it an industry? Within our hobby, within our sport, if you like, on YouTube. And he's just a really great bloke. And of course, he ends his videos with, "Don't forget to paint more minis." And yeah, I thought that I would just bring a little bit more of a calmer British vibe. Just get some paint on it. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that you find something valuable here, and get chatting with the guys, because they're lovely. A real nice bunch of people in the live chat there. Table of Horror says, yeah, they found you while in Japan. Jeff says, I'm his dad. He makes me watch it. It's true. I subscribed and I beat the like button like I owed it money. Thank you so much. I saw the little hearts coming up there. I love it. Thank you very much for subscribing. Let's get a little subscriber count, because I did make a promise. I've got a subscriber count of 198, and I did say that when I get the 200, I'll let the cats into the studio, and I really don't want to do that, but I will. Yeah. Yay! My cats are going to eat all my wires and cables and all my miniatures too. I made up that song, I just did it there and then. I've had a really, really long shift, alright, and I'm a little bit tired. And I don't get cranky when I'm tired, I just get a little bit silly. So I've just come off of what feels, I think it is a 27-hour shift. There was some sleeping involved in that, but very, very minimal. Yeah, and I've got to go back in early doors tomorrow to do some cleaning. Great. And yeah, it's going to be a long day. I got, what, 3 or 4 more days left before I get a couple of days off, and then in a couple of weeks I'm going to have an extended holiday. So I will be doing some tidying in the studio. Got some rearranging. I want to do a little bit of enhancing in the studio. I think it's about time that I spent a bit of money. Improve some sound qualities, just improve my video, just tidy up the studio, because I'm going to be honest with you, it's a bit of a mess. I've been talking to you guys for ages now about actually improving the overhead quality on this camera, because the autofocus is rubbish. Like, it's a really, really good webcam. Webcams aren't really designed for doing what I do, so I've been looking at getting a mirrorless DSLR. But they can be quite pricey, so I'm just trying to find like a decent camera that will keep up with what I need it to do with a fast autofocus. Because if I bring my thing into focus here, it goes out of focus. I break it down, it's out of focus. So I've got to hold it in this one spot here. And if I do autofocus, this webcam's just a little bit on the slow side. So you just end up getting brain ache, and you can never really see what I do, and then it cheapens the whole affair. And then I lose you as subscribers, and it's not really the subscribers that really count to me, it's just the company, it's just why I do it all. So yeah, I want a better sound quality, better video, etc. So that's what I'll be doing on my holiday anyway. Right, let's get this guy's legs painted, because I feel that I'm just wasting time a little bit now. Let's undo that, spin him around. Anyway, if you're one of our new viewers this evening, tell me, what are you working on? I always ask everybody else, you know, what are your projects? I genuinely am interested in the things that you do. I don't just do this as some sort of narcissistic thing while I paint. Like, I genuinely am connected with the community, and I want to know what it is that you're doing. Tell me about what it is that you're painting. Teach me what it is that you're painting. If it's something that I don't know, if it's a game, or if it's a range of models, or if it's a historical thing, I like to learn. When I'm not painting little SAS miniatures for my dad, I'm either painting World War II armour, because I just love it. I don't know why. I do. Tanks, they're cool, right? But I'm also painting a lot of Warhammer. Warhammer 40,000 specifically was my first love. But I started painting tanks because my dad, Jeff, in the live chat right there, bought me a 135th Panther some years ago. It still needs finishing off with the weathering, to be honest. And I didn't know enough about tanks to really know what I was doing, so it forced me into a self-learning cycle where I had to kind of go and research Panthers and just learn about them. And I've learned so much about tanks that I never thought that I'd be interested in. I could talk to you about steel road wheels until you're blue in the face and you probably want to unsubscribe. So I'm not gonna, but I can, and it's fascinating. Now, I don't have the same sort of passion for not AVFs, if you get my meaning. Like some of the trucks and lorries and things, they're quite cool, and I do like a Willys Jeep. But tanks, they're just fun, aren't they? I know that their intended purpose, what they were designed for, was horrific, and, you know, I'm actually a pacifist. I don't like war or violence or anything. But I think we're far enough away from World War II to kind of enjoy the game that we play. You know, games that we play. Because there's always that weird connotation, isn't there? Playing war games, especially if you're playing World War II, it's still in our recent enough history for it to not be a fun thing. I do wrestle with that as a concept sometimes. But I do like tanks. I think they're cool. I do appreciate the engineering. I do appreciate the history in them. And I just fancy myself a bit of a tank enthusiast. Now, I don't know everything. I'm not like the be-all, end-all of the knowledge of every tank. But I'm fairly certain that if I went and took a job working at a museum, that I'd have a bit of a head start on some vehicles. Now, when you're at school, and you come from my sort of era, so I was born in the early 80s, grew up through secondary education in the 90s, you're forced to learn the Industrial Revolution and Depression, World War II, and it's just not sold as a very... Not that there's anything exciting about World War II, but it's not sold to you in a way that really grabs everyone's interest. But I do regret not paying more attention in my history lessons, and I don't like having regrets. You know, like, you are who you are, and you got to where you are because of the decisions you made, and be happy and grateful. But I wish I paid more attention. I just remember it not being very interesting subject. Anyway, Mike joined us. Hi Mike, nice to see you again. How are you doing? Are you doing well? Are you painting something this evening? Please tell me. Please. Make sure I'm in shot. Here we go. Jeff says, are you going to get a new Wazomatic? Yeah, I think I will. I really want to get a Vortex mixer, the proper Vortex mixer, but then they're near 100 quid, and if I'm going to be buying myself a nice mirrorless DSLR camera, I could be spending up to 500, maybe 600 quid, all said and done, because I've got to get a dummy battery for it as well, because live streaming for 2 hours solid will eat up the batteries of a standard camera. So got to be careful there, and I just got to make sure that I get the right one. I don't want it to overheat. The dummy battery should help with that. There's a lot of road testing to do. Basically, I've just got to spend a bit of money on it, and this is a completely unsponsored channel, and I have no source of revenue to support it other than what I earn at my job. And well, veterans of the show will know that back in early June, I had a car accident, a pure accident. I wasn't being a douchebag, and I wrote my car off, so I've had to spend a lot of my savings on getting a new car. Myself and my passengers, we were all fine, absolutely fine. I dealt with the situation like a champion, and yeah, I just wrote my car off, and it was a real shame. It was my first ever car. I'd had it for years, and it was very sad, but of course I had to go and buy a new car. Oops. So yeah, I just trying to be careful with how much I spend on equipment. I have talked about the idea of setting up a Patreon or some sort of a funding thing for this channel, but I don't do it for the profit, and I don't want to, while we're still in our early years, I suppose, like, you know, we're still in an early, we're a small group, right? We're nearly 200. I don't want it to make it sound like that I'm trying to do it just for the money. I'm not in it for the adoration. I'm not an influencer. I do it for the genuine hobby interest, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm taking a piss, basically. So I'm not going to ask for money at this stage, and I never will ask for money. I might set up a donations page or something like that, and I do promise that if we ever get to that stage, that I will never pocket any of that. It should be, in any situation, given the nature of what Easy 8 is, it should always be money goes into like a little account or something, and it goes into improving the quality of the show and the experience for you guys, the viewers. Some people a little while ago were asking for merch. I've been doing some prep work for that for you guys, absolutely. If you've been on tour with us and you've gone to any of the shows on the road across the country, you will know that I do have a very, very small line of merch that me and my Easy 8 crew do wear. There are more than just me. There's a few of my close friends who help me out when we go on the road, who I don't believe are actually online right now. But yeah, we do have some, and I've been trying to set it up so that some of you guys, if you want it, can have it. Hoodies and t-shirts, you know, the general stuff. fan-based stuff, but it is actually very expensive for me to maintain a online store, of which I have to have one if I want to do e-commerce, essentially, set it up for you guys to do. And it's really expensive, like it's 30-40 quid a month. So I'm trying to find out some Easy 8 squeaky car toys. I love it. Yes, please. I am trying to find free alternatives without making it cheap naff stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be a good experience. So yeah. One of the shows that we said that we are definitely going to is Recon, which will be in just outside of Bradford in Pudsey. That will be in December. We were there last year. We support that show closely. I do have some concerns at the moment. I don't like to bring politics or like the outside world into the show, but if you're in the UK or maybe even outside of the UK at the moment, you'll know that there's been a lot of riots going on, and I can tell you for a fact that what you see in the news is only skin deep. There is so much more going on. I've got friends who are in perilous situations, and I am concerned about taking me and the community into an environment where we might end up in some trouble. So I'm going to be keeping a very, very close eye on that situation as it develops across the UK. We've obviously got some time between now and December. That time will move fast. But if any of you are waiting to hear more about that show and are we attending, I have every intention of going. I've been speaking to Matt and the Pit Gaming Store who run it. They're very keen to have me and the Easy 8 team there. We want to bring you guys along to it as well. Just be patient while we make sensible choices. Yeah. Because, like I say, I'm a pacifist. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to be a reason that anyone goes to an area where trouble kicks off. Even if you're not hurt, I just don't want to put people in that situation, regardless of the situation. So, yeah, watch this space. But of course, I want to go along and support the show. I realise I'm a little bit out of shot there. I'm so sorry. Just desperately trying to get the last of this grey finish because it's all I've been painting this evening. Right. Sick. I want to get a bit of green in there as well. Right, do you know what? I'm going to get that, because I said there was a bit of green I was missing earlier. Let's get the green out again. Citadel's Layer Lauren Forest is what I was using on the ovals. It's a really nice colour. I like it. Cool, let's have a catch up. James says, I'm bouncing back and forth between a mix of AOS night haunts and building terrain and landscape. Oh, I love a little bit of terrain building. Picked up mini painting as a form of therapy for my chronic pain. I'm so sorry to hear about chronic pain. Do look after yourself. I hope you're well. And yeah, like, I don't know if you caught me saying about it earlier on, but one of the reasons that I started Easy 8 was to bring people together in the pandemic. I was going to stop afterwards, but then people really started reaching out to me and started talking about mental health, and I'm very, very aware of mental health. In my workplace, we are massive advocates of working with mental health, just looking after our employees. I'm a manager, so I say our employees and my team, and I also have suffered the blight of depression myself, very mild in comparison to what other people have, but I know what it's like, and I know that having something that you find that helps you is really important to maintain. So I kept Easy 8 going, and I hope it provides entertainment, support and therapy for people for years to come. Oh, that is a floor cleaner of a drink that I've made there. Yikes. Right. Where's that one that at the bottom of his coat? There it is. Look at that down there. Let's just get that straight out of the pot. Who cares? A bit of water. There we go. Don't know what I was doing with it last time. Did I think it was the bottom of this armoured jacket, vest thingy, whatever. Let's just get that painted green. It's going to be shaded in a second with the silicanum grey. And what was it on this guy? What was I looking at? Oh yeah, okay, so look at the bottom of his chin, the bottom of his mask there. It looks like the collar of his jacket has just come up to say hello. So let's not overcomplicate the paint scheme here. Let's just get some green in there and be done with it. And hopefully, when I put a wash on it in a minute, we'll let it speak for itself. Cool. Well, it'll do a lot of the heavy lifting for us. Pop that down. Now, I want to do boots, gun, and masks. I want to do them jet black. So there's a little bit of contrast between the dark grey that's going to be washed black. But I'm going to do those afterwards. I want to see how well this Basilicanum grey wash turns out, because it could be a load of rubbish. And if it is, then I've basically got, well, between now and next week to, fix the damage so that I don't end up repeating myself over the next couple of shows, boring you and losing half my show. Mike says, "Fear not, for I have mastered the windmill technique." I don't know what you mean by that. I know what you mean by it, but why are you saying that? Yeah, windmilling. Cool, good, great. I forget half the things I say on this show, so if it's in response to something I've just said, you're going to have to remind me. Oh dear. Right, cool. Basilicanum Grey, one of my favourite paints made by Games Workshop. I put a couple of agitator balls in there because contrast paints settle at the bottom. It's a really, really nice grey colour, and if you water it down 50-50, it's a really good unifying ink, essentially like a wash, a stain, and it blends. Oh, just throw it on the floor, why don't you? Pardon me. What is in this crazy drink? Jeez. How to alleviate my fears of the riots. Right, cool. Fight and talk. Great. Cool. I can teach you a thing or two. Yeah, alright. Learn me the methods, please, of your windmilling techniques. I see. Right. How to get my way through a crowd, right? This could be applied at concerts, pubs, or shops. I'm with you. I'm such an idiot. Right, okay, cool. So, yeah, just water it down 50-50 to make sure that you get an accurate and consistent 50-50. Use a pipette, man. Where's my pipette blocked up? Nope. Cool. So, I will get myself about 3 drops of each. Just going to pop them in mine. You can't see it over here, but yeah, I've got a little palette on the side. 1, 2, 3. The rest can go in there. So it's a really good unifying colour, and it works with every colour. I was talking about it a couple of weeks ago on the show. Kez, who's not online tonight, he's normally online, was painting a load of Battletech minis and just used it all over paint schemes, no matter what the colour was, and it just works. I first started using this 50-50 mix of water and Basilicanum Grey because Duncan Rose, I think it was Duncan Rose, might have been Peachy, was doing it on a Games Workshop painting tutorial, using it over silver, and my god is it really, really good. 1, 2, 3, there we go, cool. It's a really, really good colour to put over your silver. It just makes silver look realistic. Now, contrast paints behave differently than other paints. They have a very fast congealing speed. I don't know if that's like the right term. There's a big science behind paints, and I don't know it. But they don't dry. They congeal very quickly, and that's how they work. So kind of when you put it on, you want like 2-3 brushstrokes maximum before you have to leave that area alone. When you water it down, you still have that property, but it's less bad. It's less intense. So if you do use it, just be aware that it is still a thing, but you can get away with a lot more. Just don't push it. When it starts to dry, and it will bunch up, peel up, etc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply this over everything I've done here, because I want the green and the grey to be basilicanumed. Danny's Easy 8's unifying wash colour, whatever you want to call it. I'd love to call it the sauce, but there's a show out there called The Sauce, so I can't call it that. He's also really good. But I just love sauce. So I'm just going to apply it over everything, being careful not to let it pool too much, because unlike when I was painting it over the primer colour, which was just to show me where the details are. Now I actually want it to behave quite well on the different colours. I'm going to start on his hood. Just going to avoid doing it on the white bits. There's no need for me to apply it anywhere else, but if I get it on there, no big drama. And what I'm really looking for here is a good filter and a good shader. So I want it to fall into some of the natural creases, even if they're just tool marks or sculpting marks, because it will make it look more realistic. But I also want it to tone that green right down, because the source photos that I looked at had a very, very dark green, and it was a nice way for me to not turn the miniature into a modern ninja, which is just wearing all black. So I wanted to have some discrepancy between the colours. I was thinking about using blues and things like that as well on some of the greys, like on the body armour, and frankly, if the black and grey thing doesn't work, I think I would end up just going into adding a slight blue hue to the bits that are already grey on here. Obviously, I mean the drop trouser style. The secret is eye contact. Yeah, that's a big hard pass from me. Thank you very much. There's my dad there. So those of you that just joined, Jeff is my dad. My dad there saying, anyway, the model show. Yes. So on the 18th of August, if you live in the southwest, there is the North Devon Model Show. It is actually on the doorstep to me and my team, and we went there last year, and it was a very different show than most shows, because most shows are like trader shows / kind of mini games conventions with war games going on. The North Devon Model Show is literally just a model show. Very few war games pieces there, which was, I suppose, in some way quite refreshing, because you go to a lot of war game shows, you see a lot of war game stuff. But there was a lot of just like display pieces and memorabilia and fandom, you know, and it was really nice to see, and there were some really nice things painted. And there was some RC craft and things like that as well. One of my particular favourites was the nostalgic visit to a lot of the 60s shows like Thunderbirds, which stands to be one of my all-time favourite shows ever. There was some really cool stuff. Am I able to go this year? I'm actually very busy at work at the moment, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, but if I can, I will, because it is about 10 minutes away from where I live. It's probably a bit longer than that, but yeah, it's definitely worth going. So if you're in the North Devon area, go and check it out as the North Devon Model Show. Now, there's also the Southwest Model Show, which is often put on twice a year at the Tank Museum in Bovington, which is a really cool place to go. You should go there. We, as a community, have been talking about going back to Bovington very soon. I think there is talk about heading to Bovington on the 25th, but we've yet to really talk about that as a team, as a group, as a community. So if you are interested in going to the Tank Museum and that date suits you or doesn't suit you, let me know, because we can make it work. The best thing about Bovington is it is annual tickets, so you buy a seasonal pass, and it's absolutely worth going multiple times. How many times have we been there now as the Easy 8 team? Countless now. We can walk around that place with our eyes shut. It's brilliant. Is the reason why staff buys tanks? Yeah, let's not blow all our content in one evening for the new people, but yes, one of my favourite games to play is when Stafford goes to an event, is just go, oh, isn't that nice, and make him buy it, because it's just so easy to make him spend all his money. It's a terrible thing to do, I know, I'm an awful friend. I've also never known anyone to spend so much money on model aircraft when they go to a tank show. But, you know, whatever works for you. Yeah. Staff's not live right now. He would be defending himself, you know. So, you know, in the interest of allyship, let's gang up on him while he's not here. We've also been talking about going to the Cobberton Combat Collection, which is literally on my doorstep. That is a gentleman, or maybe even a small family setup, where for as long as I've been alive, I think that there's always been like a private collection or a personal collection rather that got a bit carried away with itself and got turned into a sort of a museum. There are a few armoured vehicles and things there, but there's a lot of like trinkets of war and smaller artifact pieces like guns and uniform and badges and medals and things like that. There's lots there, and I think it started off as a collection in someone's backyard that turned into we have to buy a barn, and it's being closed, and it's very, very sad for the people who go to see it and enjoy it. I think that basically the family who own it are just aging and growing out of it, and they're selling it on, and I just hope that all of those pieces, I'm sure they will, go to very worthy collectors, locations, museums, etc., because I think that all of those things are not just interesting things to look at. They tell a story. They've been through some stuff, man, and it's important that they go to the right place. So yeah, we'll talk about going there as well. So some interesting things on the horizon. Keep me in the loop if you're interested in going. Literally, you can type it in the live chat tonight. You can put it in the comment section after the show's been processed, after we're finished. You can join us on Facebook, and you can message me. Put it up on the board there if you want to. You can talk to me on Discord at the end of the show at the Easy 8 After Party, whenever you like. I read and respond to everything that I get. So if you're interested in going to these things, let me know. Yeah. James says, I'm hitting the toy fair here in Stafford this Sunday. Ooh, next show, if you come along, you've got to tell us all about your haul. I want to know about your haul. Not the haul, that you hang out in, but the haul that you buy. Your loot. Yeah. I ran out of paint. Let me get some more. In short, I really like the way that the green and the grey have reacted with this colour. It's really working for me. It's all dulled down a little bit, so I might apply a slight dry brush in there later, much later. Especially on the green. I think it needs a little bit of colour bringing back out again, but I like the way it's really, really toned down. Let me bring this guy in the corner here. That's really working for me. I will take photos at the end of the show and put them up on Facebook if you're interested in seeing them. Saying a lot today. 1, 2, 3. But the grey, I don't know if I need to highlight it so much. I'll be very interested to see how the green reacts beside it when the green's been highlighted with a dry brush. 1, 2, 3. Precision, man, precision. And when the black goes down, in contrast on the masks, on the rifles, I keep calling rifles, SMGs, and on the boots, it might be enough contrast to really set that grey out. Who knows? I'll bring them in a shot a little bit more so you can see them just on the side there. There we go. There we are. So let's just mix up that paint we just made. Cram says, he has so much stuff to paint and keep him off the streets. Yeah, we need to keep him busy, bless him. He's actually done a very good job of painting all his stuff recently. I think he's almost up to speed, if not finished. I found out last night there's a Batman Minis game. I hate you guys. You keep on telling me about all these really cool things that I have to go and spend more money on and then paint more things. I'm trying so desperately to get through my collection that I've built up over the last 25 years. So there's one game that I really want to play. There's actually a couple of games I really want to play. I really want to play the Aliens board game. I really want to play the Terminator board game because I've seen some miniatures out there for that, or a game that at least has Terminator in there. And I want to play the RoboCop game because I've seen that out there as well. Basically, they're all just really cool 80s action movies from my childhood that just a way of celebrating nostalgia in my mind is by enjoying it in the medium of wargaming. Because I love war games, so why not? The problem is if you get into all these games and you end up spending money on it, that's issue number one, isn't it? Is that you've only got so much money to spend on your hobby. Which part of it do you spend it on? But also you've got to store all the stuff because you can't likely play Warhammer Age of Sigmar and have your terrain that you then cross-reference into Bolt Action World War II, and then into, RoboCop Delta City. Ugh. It's difficult, isn't it? And then, of course, you've got different scales. So I play What a Tanker, which I can also play Flames of War because it's in the same scale. But if I want to play Bolt Action, I've got to go and buy all the same stuff, but in a different scale. I have played Bolt Action. Mike, who is not the Mike that's currently in our live chat, but there's another guy called Mike. Haven't seen him for a little while, but in our live chat, invited me and Kez, one of our regular viewers, over to their house to run us a game of Bolt Action, and we played against each other, and we had a cracking time. I lost. It was a great game. I absolutely loved it. And Mike, if you are actually ever watching this, thank you so much for running that game. It was awesome of you, and it was a great day put on at his house. What a wicked day. That's what I like about this community, isn't it? Everyone comes together and just shares. Dale Mac 3D, how do folks? Just subbed, and you should now be at 200 subscribers. Oh my god, we need to stop the fanfare. What is going on? 200 subscribers. If I had like a little fanfare music and a little party popper, I would totally do that right now. Thank you so much for putting me at 200 subscribers. I'm just looking. It still says here 198. I'm going to do a little refresh because maybe it needs to refresh. But do you know what? If I'm at 200 subscribers, thank you so much. That's so cool of you. It's so kind of you to come along to the show. I genuinely hope that you find some value here, whether it be in my company, in the painting, in just having some company while you're painting your stuff, or in the community. Yeah, hope you have a great time. So yeah, the music's done a full cycle. It doesn't normally do that. I only muted it. Weird. Yeah, I'm well happy. Look at that, 4 new subscribers just tonight. I had my little monthly newsletter from YouTube this morning. It said, over the last month, you've had 4 new subscribers. I've done that in one night. Thanks, guys. That's down to you. That's making the community grow, and my ego, obviously. That's super cool. It's really weird having this music at the end of the show. Normally this music is right at the beginning of the show. I only muted it, and for some reason it did a full cycle. It's reloaded the music, but the music is just there to fill the silence when I'm not talking, when I do my concentration voice, which sounds like this. What a bloody lovely evening. I stopped for 1 week. I have an anniversary. I come back and I'm making all these new friends. I don't know if you've heard about me and Easy 8. I'm kind of a big deal around here. People know me. My apartment smells like rich mahogany, and I have many leather-bound books. Name that film. If you can't name that film, I'm afraid we can't be friends. Please rescind your subscription. Please don't. Please, please don't. It's been a long time getting here. I'm pretty happy with the way that grey and that green has turned out. Of course, what I do have to do now is wait for it all to dry. The first one is pretty much dry. I'm thinking at this point I might actually give them a little blast of varnish. I might do that in the after show today, just to protect them, because as the more and more work that I do on them, I don't want them to be damaged by me handling them, and every now and again I have to take them out of the clamp and things. So I don't want to take any paint off them, because it would just be a bit of a ball ache trying to get back to that place. So a bit of varnish at this stage will help protect them. I'm not going to do it while they're still damp from the shading there. But I might, while I'm waiting for that to dry, just put a little bit of colour on the bases. Don't know what colour to paint it. I want it to be a colour that doesn't make them pop out too much. It has to be a colour that kind of represents who they are, what they're doing. And this is, of course, representing the SAS team in the Iranian embassy in 1980. and I take from that beige. I don't know why beige. Maybe it's because it's an off-white, dirty white colour from the outside of the building. I don't know. What colour do you think I should paint the base? The bases should be a colour that I suppose unifies them. It should make them pop, but without being a distraction from the whole colour scheme. Normally I like my bases to tell a story, but these are very small bases. They're pennies because the customer who has ordered the building that these are going for in the photo shoot are also on pennies, so there's not big enough scope on there to do like tiles or carpet or whatever. Imagine painting carpet, oh my gosh. So yeah, I don't know what colour to paint the bases basically, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it. I was thinking maybe like a nice khaki colour or something like that. Maybe if I painted the same colours I paint their pouches, maybe that would be a good colour. Just because it's always nice to have a sort of like when I paint the base rims on my like Warhammer miniatures, for example, I like the colour to kind of represent one of the key colours in there. So, for example, my Skitari, I paint them like an off black, just because it actually tied all the colours together and it stopped distracting from all the others. But it for me it was all about shadows really on there, and the silver on my Tyranids, which are yellow and grey. It's a bright grey. On my Space Marines it was sandy bases, so I did a sand yellow colour. Haven't done Space Marines for a really long time. More on that in just a minute. No living with him now. Yeah, sorry. He is stalling before the fuzzies. Now that I'm at 200 subscribers, if we truly are and we stay stable at 200 subscribers, I will let the cats in to the studio. It'll be next week. Yeah, okay, cool. Photoshop elements or After Effects and do it for the YouTube vid. What are we talking about here? Saw a video on the Batman miniature game. I'm so behind. Quick, someone unsubscribe to make sure that to make his speech invalid. That's so horrible. Why would you do that? Take away my joy. Audrey, 60% of the time it works every time. Axminster woolen carpet, the carpet you get in old manor houses, or the carpet that you might find in a pub. Oh dear, that'd be so hard to paint. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe one day that'll be a good challenge, wouldn't it? Funny. So, yeah, I'm going to let those dry. I'm going to give them a good old varnish. I'm going to do that in the Easy 8 After Party. For those of you that are new here, the Easy 8 After Party is where we hang out on Discord after the show. You're welcome to come along. You don't have to, but some of us do. Sometimes it's just me, all by myself. Other times it's me and a couple of other people. Sometimes we've had like 8 or 9 people in there, and it's just about having a little chit-chat afterwards. And because I haven't been online for a fortnight now, it'd be nice to kind of have a little catch-up with you. And while I'm doing that, I will be varnishing these guys. It'll also be a good chance to see what condition my airbrush is in, because normally I don't. Oh yeah, that is seized solid. That needs a clean. Yikes. Jeff says light grey, light or mid grey, but the carpet is indestructible. Yeah. A little fruit machine to go in the corner, perhaps. Yeah. I don't really know what the inside of the Iranian embassy in London looks like. There is the film, isn't there? What was the film called? I can't remember what it's called now. It's a really good film, actually, and if you haven't seen it, you should definitely go and check it out. But maybe a little bit of research in there, like parquet flooring. I'm sure it's going to be like parquet or like Axminster carpet or whatever it might be. I don't know. I'm not painting carpet. Alright, get over it. But maybe like a really nice dark deep red. You know, like the sort of dark crimson that you might find in a pub or something. See what happens. I could play around with those colours anyway. I like tightening up the bases at this point because there's a lot of splash from the stain and the shading, etc. that's kind of gone onto the base. It just makes it look a little bit rougher. And as you're just trying to bring a little bit of conformity, bring everything together in this sort of mid-stage where everything looks a little bit messy, it's just a nice way to introduce a little bit of order and tidiness, and I like that. It makes my head feel good anyway, and I am all sorts of neurodivergent, and I need order where I apply chaos. Yeah, if you haven't already noticed, it is that time. It's the end of the show. So, of course, if there's anything that you want to pass on, talk about, now is the time to do it. Of course, if you do like what we do here, please do consider subscribing, because I would love that if you did. Thank you to all of the new people that have turned up. Do you know what? I'm going to come away from here. Thank you so much to all the new people that have turned up. It really is so heartwarming to see new faces, new names, etc. in the live chat. Thank you so much for coming along. I genuinely hope that you find a little bit of value, maybe lots of value, coming along. If it isn't up to scratch, if it isn't up to your standards, let me know what it is that I can do to improve that. Let me know what it is that I can do to make it more entertaining for you. I would love to be a part of that conversation, because this is a part of the same hobby for me now. Like, painting is streaming. Beaming it into your house all across the world. That's what I enjoy doing. So if it isn't up to your standards, let me know how it is that I can improve. You can, of course, tell me that right in front of everybody in the live chat, wherever the live chat appears on your screen. You can put it down here in the comment section at the end of the show, after the show is processed. I will read and respond to everything. You can pop it up on Facebook, because we're not just here on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're also on Discord. You can tell me on Discord at the Easy 8 After Party, and there's lots of like things down the side of Discord where you can drop photos of your stuff if you want to. You can put it all up over Facebook. Share, like, share, thumbs up, subscribe. I would love it if you would. It's already made my day, and you would further make my day. You would make my day-er. Yeah. I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying it. James says, a nice flat olive drab to reflect the skein of times, Vietnam, the troubles, etc. The skein? What is this word, skein? I'm going to have to go and do a little Google search. The skein of times. Okay, yeah, and you know what? Like, maybe a nice olive green, maybe a slightly brighter green to kind of bring it together, because it might... Obviously, the secondary colour in this outfit is green, right? And if I do a brighter green, it might make them stand out. That might be a nice colour to do. I like that. I hadn't thought of green. Thank you for the stream, says Table of Horrors. You are absolutely welcome. Go dancers, that's always the answer. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Not on my watch. This is not the show for that. You want to see my sister channel, Go Dancers. I don't have a sister channel, but if I did, it would have Go-Go Dancers in it. And I'm not saying that, Crumbs. I'm just not going to say it live on the show. But we can go and talk potty mouth stuff in Discord, because that's what it's all about. Anyway, do you know what? It's the end of the evening. I've had a lot. All right. Thank you so much. Cheers. Happy weekend. And thank you so much again to all the new viewers and subscribers. Cheers and thank you. And that's it. Until next week. Thank you very much. You've been awesome. My name's Danny. Until next week, stay safe, be kind, keep on painting, and I'll see you soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. What a day. I've made so many new friends. I'm famous. I don't know what that voice was. How much have I drunk?